Okay, so this is the part where we transition into my opening talk, which will just be talking about the state of the Jupyter stack. And Michelangelo will go sit down. Awesome. So you're probably here because you really love Jupyter project. You love Jupyter notebooks, the interactivity, what they do for your data team, your research team, just for yourself or your students. And you want to learn more about it, and we came to the right spot. It's sort of big news in the Jupyter world that people might know about already is what I like to call $6 million dream. So the Jupyter project was awarded $6 million in grant money from the Sloan, Moore, and Helmsley Foundations for advancing work on the notebook. This happened this summer. And this gives us the opportunity to make lots of big, important changes in the notebook that I'm really excited about. The next couple of slides that I'm going to talk about are essentially summaries of a blog post that was posted on the Jupyter blog in July of this year. So if you want to get more info on what the grant actually entails, you can check it out there. We're fully transparent, so you can find out everything you need there. So the first is better collaboration. Going forward, we're really interested in improving real-time, multi-user collaborative editing of the notebook, because that's the very nature of how the notebook works. You're working with a team, you're sharing insights, you're sharing data, and you want to be able to work efficiently. And we recognize that, and we're going to be working towards that within the next year or so keep your eyes peeled. And the next thing we want to kind of work towards is reusable components. What's under the hood in the notebook is really important for creating a robust experience on the outside. So we want to make components of the notebook readily usable in different contexts that are not necessarily that particular front end, and quickly leverage a special JavaScript library that we have for interactive computation, which I'll talk about in a little bit. And I touched on this a little bit earlier, but I will iterate it again because we are very serious about this. Better documentation. We actually recently hired a team member, Carol Willing, whose full sort of task is improving our documentation. We understand that our documentation is lacking in a couple of spots, but it's going to get better, so bear with us as we do that, and support us and contribute as we do that as well. I wish I had a clicker. Better community, this is the final point. So part of the money goes towards hosting events like this. So we had a Jupyter Day in New York City, and we had about 80 attendees at that as well. We have one in Chicago. It's our second one ever, so you guys are kind of pioneers, like second-tier pioneers, but that's good because we get to learn from the mistakes of the people who came before us and stand on the shoulders of giants and so on and so forth. And then we're going to have another one in Boston, which is going to have 100 people. So we're really trying to bring users, developers of the notebook together, get conversations going, get ideas flowing, enable people to contribute, enable people to listen to users, and that all starts with events like this. So we're really excited that you're participating in this. Another big thing, which I think I'm allowed to talk about, is JupyterCon. So that'll be a huge national conference that's going to bring Jupyter users from across the country to talk about the project, how we can improve the experience, what we're using it for, all the fun stuff. So you can think of it like a Jupyter Day, but more intense, like 20 times the fun. So now I want to transition into some of the ways that we're looking to enable you. And the first is that your ideas matter. If I haven't said that enough, I will say it again. Your ideas matter. And you're probably wondering, Safia, how do my ideas matter? How does the project care what I think? Well, the first kind of solution to that is something that I like to call a Jeb. Jeb Bush is going to sue me, but I will go out gloriously for this. So JEP stands for Jupyter Enhancement Proposals. If you are willing to dedicate the time to fully think of a new plugin or new architecture for the project and willing to write up the problem you're looking to address, the architectural solution, who would be interested in contributing, you can submit an enhancement proposal. And it's the same process that might be used for a Python enhancement proposal where there's discussion from the development team about the proposal. Through development process and acceptance process, it might be rejected, it might be refined. But the point is, there is an opportunity an avenue for you to share your ideas and your proposals, whether big or small, to the project in the form of a job. You have to say it that way. Job. The second is the Jupyter Incubator. And I like to think of this as the sort of secret lab for the Jupyter project. So in the incubator, we have projects that are not part of the main Jupyter org on GitHub, but will eventually graduate. Can't speak today, friends. Can't speak today. Will eventually graduate into that main repository. And we actually had a project recently graduate for kernel gateways, if you want to check out the discussion on that. The incubator is kind of where we keep innovating and thinking about fresh ideas while we're contributing on the stable notebook ecosystem. So keep your eyes out for that. So the next thing I want to talk about is cool new features in 4.1. Who here is using Jupyter Notebook 4.1 already? Okay, I will convince the rest of you to start using it with this fantastic list of new features. So the first is search and replace. Have you ever been in that situation where you had one data frame that you imported in pandas and you called it cancer data, and then at the end you were like, I don't want to be called cancer data, I want my variable to have a more robust name. You're just like, do I have to go through and edit every single cell? No, you can now search and replace in the Notebook 4.1. That's a really great feature addition. It puts it on par with a lot of editing experiences that what we might be familiar with. So if that's not reason enough to update to 4.1, I have more reasons for you, friends. Restart kernel and run all. Who here has ever been like super frustrated by a hanging execution where you had like some scikit-learn thing running and you're really frustrated and you're like, there's a solution for that now, which is restart kernel and run all. And it's one of those super simple things that makes your life easier. I'm going to give a shout out to Min, who works on the project for that. And if that alone isn't going to convince you to update over to 4.1, I bet multi-cell selection and actions will. Why do it on one cell when you can do it on all the cells? So this is a new feature that was added by Matthias and a couple of other people on the development team. It's essentially exactly what it says. Instead of being able to move a single cell up and down on the page or select and execute operations on a single cell, do that on multiple cells at the same time. I'll give it a second to sink in. It's kind of crazy. I know it's too much progress for a Saturday morning and being a bit rebellious, taking on the Bernie Sanders tone here. Apologize. The command palette, this is sort of a Finder-esque, if you've ever used Spotlight-esque interface where you can access all of the commands through search, find the keyboard shortcuts for all of the commands that are available in the book, which are a lot, to the point where we're now running out of key combinations for things. So that's kind of a problem. And then beyond just what's going on today, what is going on in the far, far future? That's what's really exciting to me. So the first thing I want to talk about is Jupyter Lab. So we're currently in Jupyter 4.x versions of the notebook. Jupyter Lab is going to be part of the big 5.0. We're not turning 50 yet, just turning 5.0. So Jupyter Lab is going to be based on a JavaScript platform known as Phosphor.js. It'll give you the ability to have multiple plugins tabbed on the same screen. So you'll be able to have your file browser, that file tree that you see in the beginning, the terminal, the text editor, all in one tab page without having to go into new things. And that'll be part of the interface. We'll be decoupling a lot of the JavaScript-based front-end things of the notebook into separate packages. And just making a lot of infrastructure changes to make it easier for us to develop on the notebook and to make it easier for you guys to get your new features that you really want in and to be able to understand the infrastructure well enough to make your own contributions. We really want you to contribute, as you can see. iPyWidgets, is anyone here an iPyWidgets user? Nice, 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 nice. iPyWidgets is a fantastic feature. It allows you to have built-in widgets, so sliders, drop-down menus in your notebook that can then customize variables. You can create really intelligent, intuitive experiences with that. So we're also going to be doing some architectural changes on that. Lots of new APIs, breaking out the JavaScript from the Python, cleaning things up. And then Jupyter Hub. Who here is a Jupyter Hub user? Whether at a university or at a company or spaceship. Spaceship, yes. I too use Jupyter Hub on my spaceship. So pretty shortly, we're going to be adding tons of new configurations. You'll have the ability to support user-provided input to spawners via web forms. That's in the 0.04 version. Eventually, once the single notebook application has real-time collaboration, Jupyter Hub will as well. So that's something really exciting to look forward to if you're working with a team on it. I'm almost done for you guys who are just really excited to hear Brian speak or to code. And all of this is available on the roadmap repository under the Jupyter org. We're an open source project that values transparency. So in addition to having all of our weekly dev meetings on YouTube, we also have the roadmap for future work on the project laid out on GitHub. Funny story about those dev meetings that are on YouTube. When I joined the team, I didn't realize that they were recorded and uploaded to the internet. So I would show up looking like a mess until about 2 months in, so that's eight videos, I realized that like groggy Safia with messy hair and like just not having it face was like on the internet for everyone to see. And I'm pretty sure Nick, who's on the development team, can spot the transition from when I like came into the meetings looking like a mess to when I would like have my hair done and like look set up before the meeting. So the point is those meetings are available for you online. So if you can't join them, which you're absolutely welcome to, you're welcome to watch them and see what each member of the team is working on and what our current mindset and direction is. Again, it's all about you. So the general takeaways of a lot of the progress that we're looking to make can be summarized in the following. Better architecture. It's good for us, the developers. It's good for the progress of the project. And it's good for new contributors who don't want to really deal with a messy code base, want to deal with something that's well-tested, well-documented, intuitive to use. Good things. Better user experience. We're really interested in hearing your thoughts. There was a survey sent out a couple of weeks ago. We want to make the notebook a great thing to use for different teams and different applications, and that requires your input. Have I convinced you that we really care about you? Good. And then better narratives. And I think this is really important, and this is why I'm involved with the project and why I put on things like this and like code ungodly hours of the night, is because I think it doesn't matter if you're looking for ripples in the curvature of space-time or if you're just messing around with date times in your room, we're all using Jupyter to tell really interesting stories, to share our ideas with the world, to share our code with the world. And I think that interface, that experience should be the best it can be. And it doesn't matter if you're a PhD or if you're a 13-year-old or if you're a 50-year-old woman learning about data science. I have seen all of those people use the Jupyter Notebook. We really want to build something that is great for you. Love you. And so with that, I'm going to say thanks. I'm already 8 minutes over time. And instead, we're going to give it to a more important person, the lovely Brian Lang, who is a data scientist at Datascope.